Our windows fundamentally use a more thermally efficient frame profile. So if you start with aluminium, say non-thermally broken, that's transmitting heat through the frame, and that affects the performance of the frame as well as the glass. Then you step up into thermal break, so separating the aluminium bits out. Then you step up into something like a PVC frame or a timber frame, which inherently are made out of materials with more thermal resistance, and so they are warmer frames. And then the other bit I always think about too is how the window is constructed with things like the hardware, and then you get into conversations about air tightness, better European hardware that allows multi-point locking. So with opening windows, you clamp the sash to the outer frame and reduce the air movement through the frame. It further improves the thermal performance.
So we import our windows. We manufacture windows in Poland, in Europe, out of the Kermeling, based on PVC Kermeling profile, and both Yaval and Procurol for aluminium frames. We choose the most sort of the thickest profiles, the better insulation profiles for our frames.
And at some point, you've also got to make the frame a little bit thicker. And so you start talking about, we bring in what we call a 70 millimetre frame, so it's 70 millimetres, 5 chambers. This would be considered in Europe to be a kind of a medium lower kind of spec product. In Europe, they'd talk about 6 chambers and kind of 85 millimetres. So that's the top end. And at the moment, those frames are not manufactured in New Zealand. You need to typically import them. Most will offer a frame like this or slightly lower spec in terms of the PVC market.
Our profiles, we sell a PVC and aluminium. So they're very similar size. However, for aluminium to get the performance of the same insulation value as PVC, they insert the large PVC profile inside with the foam in the middle. So you have R value or U values as it states in the standards. It's exactly the same. And they can go all the way up to Passive House standard, which both will make them slightly thicker. This one will be 88 millimeters, this one will be 100, and you get the certified Passive House standards. Inside all those frames, not many people know, for the PVC, there's a steel insert to make it stronger. And for the design, as they did for the insulation of the windows, there's little pockets of air on the side. So as you see from underneath, if you push it out, there's hardly anything. There's a steel and that's it. So that's where your thermal bridging will be if you push it out. But if that sits inside the frame, it's not relevant as much. It's the insulation across the frame. That's what's important. And those rubber seals, this one is double seal. We have another one with triple seals. Same with this one. We have triple seals, 1, 2, and 3. And that's for insulation. For the aluminium, they insert the insulation under the glass to stop that bridging through the aluminium where the glass sits. So all those little things that they think of designing, all our glass is fitted from inside with these little beads, so the thickness of the glass can be up to 50 millimeters all up.
People actually come into the showroom and get quite mesmerised by Inwards opening tilt and turn windows, and it's surprising how many come in and go, oh, that's right, that's that window that was in that house we rented in France 10 years ago, or, remember that hotel we stayed at in Germany. So tilt and turn's interesting. It was originally invented to allow ease of cleaning on multi-storey buildings, so remarkably practical in terms of the Germans. Open the window, clean the glass, close the window. There's no one outside with a big long pole or a ladder or anything like that. As soon as you did that and you added the ventilation, the secure ventilation option, you end up having to have a gearbox all the way around the frame. That gave you multi-point locking. Now that you've got a gearbox and a mechanism that allows you to work that gearbox, you can put a whole lot of locking points on the frame. That gives you a whole bunch of options around how airtight you can make that window and how secure you can make that window, because security is another issue that the Europeans are particularly concerned about, is particularly with increased urban density, acoustics and security start to become bigger issues, almost as important as thermal. So that's a tilt and turn window, and most people are surprised to discover that actually it's about the same price as a traditional outwards opening window, because in Europe, where we buy all our hardware, that is where the volume is. So.
Windows European standard open inwards, and they tilt and turn. One gives you better sealing. When you turn the handle, all those pins turn all around the sash. So when you lock it, it pushes the window. That's how the better seal windows. There is no chance of the window seals to leak ever. That's how they seal all the time. So that's part of the Superhome ideology, to have the house fully sealed, no leaks, air leaks, because that's how you lose the heat.